So it seems the White House is growing increasingly frustrated with Russia pertaining to ceasefire negotiations with Ukraine. Recently, JD Vance said Russia is asking for too much. Speaking at a high-level security conference in Washington, D.C., Vance said, quote, "I wouldn't say that the Russians are uninterested in bringing this thing to a resolution, but what I would say is right now the Russians are asking for a certain set of requirements, a certain set of concessions in order to end the conflict. We think they're asking for too much." Russia is reportedly demanding a sweeping set of conditions that have remained unchanged since the beginning. These demands include formal territorial concessions from Ukraine, demilitarization or neutrality agreements from Ukraine, limitations on Ukraine's foreign policy and their ability to join certain international bodies, Russian control or influence over Ukrainian internal governance, basically just installing a Russian puppet government, sanctions relief for Russia, and international recognition of the current Russian territorial claims. When President Trump was asked about Vance saying Russia wants too much, he responded with, quote, "It's possible, that's right. We are getting to a point where some decisions are going to have to be made. I'm not happy about it," end quote. He wouldn't say what those decisions are, though. Steve Witkoff, Trump's envoy, has met directly with Vladimir Putin 4 times, but no major progress has been made. Vance made it clear that patience is running thin in Washington, saying the White House is ready to walk away if benchmarks aren't met. He went on to say, quote, "In particular, the step that we would like to make right now is we would like both the Russians and the Ukrainians to actually agree on some basic guidelines for sitting down and talking to one another." Clearly, neither side wants to do this as they both see advantages to continuing the war. Since Trump met with Zelensky at the Vatican privately, he has threatened Moscow with secondary sanctions over renewed missile attacks on Kyiv and other Ukrainian cities. Trump posted, quote, "There was no reason for Putin to be shooting missiles into civilian areas, cities, and towns over the last few days. It makes me think that maybe he doesn't want to stop the war. He's just tapping me along, and he has to be dealt with differently." I mean, you think? It seems that Trump is now just starting to figure out what all of us figured out months ago. So Russia has also started calling for a rollback on NATO presence along its border, as well as restrictions on Ukraine's sovereignty. Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said last week, quote, "One of the root causes, apart from NATO and creation of direct military threats to Russia just on our borders, is the rights of the national minorities in Ukraine." And he's talking about apparently the Russian-speaking portion of Ukraine. Now here's the thing though. From the beginning, Trump thought he could outdeal Putin, but he got played. 4 rounds of talks, vague threats, and private meetings led nowhere while Russia kept bombing cities and demanding Ukraine surrender its sovereignty. Now even Trump admits Putin may never have wanted peace. He was strung along while believing he held the cards, but hopefully this is a case of better late than never when it comes to Trump, because Ukraine can't afford any more of his illusions.